to SMS 8. Mondays are pretty radical. I'm your host, Meili Wardinsky. This week's stories consist of the 2019 Women's March and the below zero temperatures outside. Starting off this week, pop culture.
This week in pop culture on SMS 8, the original Ghostbusters cast are supposedly returning for a sequel, and a massive Fortnite security hole led to hackers taking over many people's accounts. I'm Sydney Baker.
And I'm Bray Bromley.
Let's check it out.
The original Ghostbusters cast is returning to star in a new sequel in 2020. Of course, Harold Ramis, who died in 2014, will not be returning to be in the new sequel. The other cast members are terribly sad about this because they felt as if he was the glue that stuck them all together. This isn't for certain, though. Sony still has not publicly said whether or not they are accepted to this idea, but since the trailer was posted, it is assumed they agreed on the idea. Only one more year till we figure this out.
Our next story is about the Fortnite security hole that led to hackers taking over people's accounts, eavesdropping on chats, and even finding out people's credit card numbers through in-app purchases. With Fortnite being a very popular game among the community, many people were affected by this hack. The cybersecurity firm Checkpoint Software Technologies alerted Epic Games, the company Fortnite was created under, immediately after they figured out what had happened back in November. This was just fixed this month, and it wasn't related to passwords being leaked. Hackers could gain information without having to find the login information. They did this by creating a phishing link that was very similar to the real ones made by Epic Games. Once the link was clicked, the hackers could gain information without ever having to find passwords and other identification info. Earlier this week, reporters told that Fortnite was becoming a hub for criminals trying to find credit card information by stealing accounts.
Back to you, Meili.
Next up, 8-second trivia. What was the age of the oldest man alive? Was it A, 111, B, 117, C, 113, or D, 110? The correct answer is C, 113.
I'm Sydney Baker. This week in World News on SMS 8, the Women's March was 2 weeks ago and the world's oldest man dies at age 113.
And I'm Eleanor Mason.
Let's check it out.
As said before, the Women's March was 2 weeks ago on Saturday the 19th. There were marches everywhere around the United States, from Washington, D.C. to right here in Saugatuck. It has been said that people from all over the United States came to Washington, D.C. to fight for civil rights. Why? People wanted to feel a sense of unity and empowerment by using their voice. They also came to fight for everyone to be equal, from people in the LGBT community, trans women, and women of color.
Our second story comes all the way from Japan. The world's oldest man, Masako Noka, died January 20th to natural causes. He was not the oldest person ever, the record being 122, or even the oldest man ever, the record being 116, but he still lived a long life of 113 years. He was declared the world's oldest man alive on April 10, 2018 by Guinness World Records in a ceremony at his home. He spent his retirement eating sweet food, reading newspapers, and watching sumo wrestling on TV. He thought that the reason why he lived so long was due to his soaking in hot springs and eating sweet treats, but his family says it was because he lived a stress-free life.
That's it from World News. Back to you, Meili.
Thanks for the world news update, Caleb and Eleanor. Next up, the weather.
Welcome back to the weather with me, Donovan Rash. This week consists of frigid temperatures and snowstorms. Today there's supposed to be a 60% chance of snow with a high of 23 degrees and a low of 9. Tomorrow, a high of 14 and a low of 6. There's a 20% chance of snow through the week, and temperatures fluctuate between mid-20s and lower teens. The chance of precipitation will go up to 50% for the rest of the week. Make sure to stay safe and warm out there.
Don't get too cold-hearted with those freezing temps. Next up on SMS 8, sports.
High school is kicking off the indoor track season, and the girls' basketball upcoming game dates are released. All this is explained in Sports Today. I'm Bray Bromley.
And I'm Sam Richard Smaller.
Let's get to it.
On January 19th, the indoor track went to their first meet at GVSU. There are several new people this year on the indoor track team, being freshmen. And this past weekend, at the Elite Mile Open, the 600-meter, 400-meter, 800-meter, and 60-meter hurdle were all performed. 3 people were in the Elite Mile, consisting of senior girls. A great season is sure to come.
Today, the middle school girls basketball team has a home game with Martin Schools at 5. On Wednesday, they will have an away game at Gobles High School. Make sure to go out and support our fellow Saugatuckians.
Back over to Meili.
Thanks, Bray and Sam. Next up, Mr. Greck's Wise Words of Wisdom.
Hi, I'm Mr. Greck, and I'm back with Mr. Greck's Wise Words of Wisdom. This week's Wise Words of Wisdom come from a man who was known for being a great commentator and so on, named Andy Rooney, bless his soul. He once said that life is like a toilet paper roll. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes. So kids, enjoy life. It goes by fast. Do all the things you want to do. Focus on the things that are important, and have a great week.
Very wise words indeed. Next up, 8 out of 8.
Praying with the Pope from your iPhone, and the gender of the beloved penguins raised by same-sex parents revealed. All these funky stories in 8 out of 8. I'm Sam Richardson Smaller.
And I'm Bray Bromley. The Pope recently released an app called Click to Pray, an app where you can find different prayers and languages ranging from English to German. Apparently, you can scroll through the prayers like a social media feed. The Pope recently said that he wanted to research the younger generation through technology. Surprisingly, he hasn't actually embraced the internet and posts frequently on Twitter, something you wouldn't usually expect from someone like the Pope.
Sven and Magic, the same-sex penguin couple living at Sydney Sea Life Aquarium in Australia, adopted a baby chick recently. The parents are inseparable, always going for swims and waddling around together. They were tested with an egg when 2 other penguin parents had 2 eggs and couldn't take care of them both. The egg hatched a couple of months ago, but it takes experts months to take a blood test and figure out the gender of the penguin. But scientists found out the chick is a girl, and her name is, fittingly, Svenjik. A whole truly wholesome story to end this week.
What a totally awesome beginning of the week. This week we'd like to thank everyone on the SMS 8 team for how fantabulous they are. We also thank you for watching. From the team of SMS 8, have a great week and thanks for watching.
You have to stay here, otherwise it just dies.
Is it on?
Yes!
Oh. Praying with the Pope from your iPhone, and the gender of the beloved penguin raised by same-sex parents revealed. All these funky stories in 8 out of 8. Go team, let's go! High five, go buddy! What's up? Let's go!
Okay, I really need to pee!